And we're hopping right on in to game number 1 of our grand finals for this week's EPT Cup Americas. Spawning in the lower left-hand corner of Alcyone, we have Psystorm Gaming's MaxPax, who took down Gumiho in the semifinals to get here. His opponent in the upper right, he has been on a roll against the non-Korean Protoss today, taking down Trigger and then Estrella to finally face off against Max here in the finals. It is Talon's Dark. Who is going to go for the gold base on this map? We're not too surprised about this. He does this. I honestly, like every game on this map, I feel like I see Dark go for a gold base. He's got a few different varieties that he goes for, but yeah, it's very common. MaxPax scouts it immediately. We actually saw Trigger earlier mine through the middle so he could block it for a little while and then hit him with some adepts. That was a good game. Trigger put himself in a great spot, and then Dark just did that Dark thing where he's like, oh no, I'm economically behind. It would be such a shame if I didn't care because I'm just going to make roaches and ravagers and lings and kill you. It's a classic Dark move, really. But MaxPax is opening double gate. This is something we saw Estrella do earlier on in the last series, I believe. I like that players are changing it up. I don't know if this is specifically against Dark or just against Zerg in general. But I feel like this is a good kind of thing to do against Dark. Of all Zerg players, I feel like changing up your openings is a good thing to do against Dark. I actually think this is specifically for MaxPax in this case, wanting to get 2 adepts across the map to harass the space as quickly as possible. I think that is the plan here. I don't think there's any other big thought behind it other than this base is vulnerable. These drones are vulnerable. I'm going to try to get here with 2 adepts as quick as possible. Now, Dark is scouting this, so he's going to know this is coming, but it's still going to be tough to defend, right? Ling speed only just started. Queens can only do so much to stop adepts from killing drones. And 2 adepts one-tap the drones, so you can't even necessarily save them with spore crawlers. And it's going to force Dark to just stop mining at this base. And in fact, MaxPax could sneak around here. Obviously a gap here. He could hit on this side too and just kill the drones. But this lost mining time is a huge, huge win for MaxPax, whose Nexus is about to finish. And the Adepts are going to take advantage of that rocks being down and try to get in there. But it looks like the Lings are going to be able to get on top of them and at least force them back. They both live, though. It's so painful. Now, 1 drone goes down. I think that was the only drone killed, though. Yeah, just the 1 drone. A few Lings. Looks like this Adept is going to try to get away. And MaxPax's wall back at home is really, really nice. This is a very secure wall. These Lings coming across are not that scary in the natural. However, MaxPax is trying to go for a quick third. It's going to be a little bit tougher. And he's going to give Dark time on his side of the map to drone up a little bit. He's got a Roach Horn on the way. Where is Dark headed with this? Uh-oh. No. Chip Charlie, dude. We can't be having this. Chip Charlie. SMH my head, dude. Nah, it happens. We've all been there. I've dropped mid-game before. It feels bad. Honestly, this is a totally fine moment to drop. And better to just drop than to cause lag during a game. You know what I mean? Sometimes, in the middle of the game, we'll hit lag and we won't know who it is. And then it's like, we keep playing, but then there's like, oh, spikes of lag. And that sucks for the players. Just dropping, much better. So, Chip Charlie, we're sad to see you go. However, that's a co-caster with Ghost Who Ghost. So, stream is still going for them, hopefully. Anyways, Dark has a Roach Warren. MaxPax is going for Glaives. So we're going to see some Glaved Adepts go across. Now, MaxPax's Adepts against Dark They seem to find a weakness in them. There's not many weaknesses at Dark, but MaxPax very good at finding those weaknesses. However, whew, big shade right into the clutches of the Lings. The recall immediately, though. Did he save all those Adepts? I think there were 5 in that shade. I think he saved every single one somehow. Kind of insane. Obviously, they took a lot of damage. And, you know, he's trying to get across the map, deal some damage, but that's still pretty sick. Glaives is done now, and all these Adepts are going to be a lot easier to kill for Dark. That being said, they're still going to do just as much damage. I don't know if you guys knew, but units that are hurt still do just as much damage as units that have full health. So Dark is going to have to defend a lot of Glaives Adepts here. He has a lot of Lings coming out, but it's a lot harder to defend when your bases are this disparate from one another, this far away from each other. The Adepts are going to start shading in and seeing what's what. That is a canceled shade. There are some Ravagers here to help Dark out. Ooh, Ling's looking for a run by. I think Dark is expecting there to be a third base on the way. There is currently not a third base on the way, though. And these Adepts are going to be able to get over here. A couple of them getting caught in here. More Adepts getting warped in. MaxPax got a lot of potential damage here. He's going to shade up into the main base. Just try to take a trade against some of the units here before that shade finishes. Prism taking a little bit of damage. The Lings trying to buy time for the rest of the units to get here. Another shade comes out of these Adepts. Obviously, the Adepts are going to trade very well against the Lings, but the Lings can get any kills. It's very good for Dark. But MaxPax is going to keep that pressure on, and with this Warp Prism, he can save these Adepts, get him into the main. He's got Adepts at the gold base, targeting down a couple of drones. Just one for now. Shade back to the corner. 4 Adepts in the main base. Not a lot of drones getting killed here. Let's take a look at the trades. Yeah, you know what? Dark has done a great job so far at dealing with this. He's done a great job. Yeah, he's lost a lot of Lings, but he's killed 17 Adepts. MaxPax now only has the 3 in the Warp Prism. He doesn't have a third base. He is going to go for a Disruptor drop follow-up, it looks like, though. But, yeah, Dark is held. He's on 38 drones, but he's got 7 more on the way. And because he's mining at the gold base, it's really not that bad economically. I think Dark should be very happy here. MaxPax, I think, is about to be forced to go all in. He's got charge on the way. A lot of Zealots. I mean, Dark's attacking. I don't know if I love this attack from Dark. Usually I am a big fan of attacks from Dark, but you're up against somebody who's like in desperation 2 base all in. Disruptor Nova is going to go out. Can he get some connections? Gets one, but loses the Disruptor, and the other one does not connect. The shield battery is out of juice. It's going to get gunned down here. There's another Disruptor out. Charge is done. I mean, Dark's doing a good job here in front of the wall. The big thing here is that Dark's army supply is just skyrocketing behind this. While MaxPax is staying the same and holding on, splits are so good from Dark. It looks like MaxPax is going to hold on, and then there's just another entire army running across the map right now for Dark. Oh, another Disruptor Nova coming out. Gets a couple of hits. This one's still on cooldown for the time being. A bunch more Roaches show up. There's the next Nova. Gets a couple of kills, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Dark, he's just got too much, and GG gets called as MaxPax isn't quite able to get it done with the Glaive Adepts there. Honestly, great defense from Dark. I wasn't sure about that attack, but, you know, when it's Dark, it's just like... It seems like if Dark is attacking, it's always a good idea. All right, Golden Ore going to be map number 2. There is a gold base on this map, but I don't expect Dark to take it. You never know. But I don't expect it. It's funny, like, for most Zergs, they will, there'll be that spot where they, like, hold off an attack, they know their opponent doesn't have a third base, and they will just expand and drone a little bit, and then hit units to defend. Dark doesn't like to do that. Like, sometimes, like, that game he did drone a little bit, but he made, like, 7 or 8 drones, and then just nonstop units. I'm going to go across and kill you. Just such a crazy choice to me against somebody who's very clearly about to 2-base all in you. But also, in that game, the disruptor drops, maybe, had they gone out on the map, they could have gotten more damage done, right? But because MaxPax was immediately forced to use them back at home, they just didn't get too much done. Back at home on the defense. And, well, we saw the result. And now we're getting into game 2. We're on Golden Aura. Spawning in the lower right-hand corner, we have Psystorm's MaxPax. Trying to put the screws to his opponent, but so far, the Protoss have barely been able to scratch him. It is Dark. Dark taking an early hatch here. It is funny, there are some games where Dark doesn't seem to mind too much and he'll just go take his third. And then sometimes he really wants that natural. He really wants it. He does not want you to force him to take the third base. So he will take the early hatch, he'll do the extractor trick, make sure he gets that hatch up as soon as possible. It's very interesting. I like that he doesn't just do the same thing every game. I feel like some players, if you're going to block them every game, they're going to take their third every game. Or they're going to extractor trick every game. But Dark is one of his big strengths, and I think this is a big strength of any top player, is a certain level of unpredictability. Not everybody has that, right? Like, I think Cyril, at most of the time he's been at the top, he's, I don't want to say fairly predictable, but he doesn't have that, like, high-level unpredictability like a lot of other players will. He's just so strong and solid at what he does that it's hard to beat him anyways. But Dark certainly has it. He's a very unpredictable player. He's very hard. It's very hard to read him, which is why it was really cool to see, like, Estrella read him a bit in the last series with the Stargates against the Mutas specifically. It's not something you can usually do against Dark. Even though, like, we know Roach Ravager attacks and stuff like that, it's so common. But it's hard to know exactly how he's going to do it. How is he going to open? How is he going to get there? And he doesn't always either. Dark isn't always aggressive. He can absolutely go toe-to-toe in the late game with anybody in the world. And that makes him very scary. Players like Gumiho have that as well, where it's like, you really don't know what Gumiho's going to do at any given point in a best-of-5 series. That makes him really hard to play against. I think Hero also has a bit of that. Less than he has in the past, I feel like. There have been points in Hero's career where you just don't know what the hell he's going to do. Now it's a bit more predictable, I think. We've also been on very similar patches for a long time. I think this game has changed less in the last few years than in any other time before it. So it's a little bit harder to be such an unpredictable player. There are still a few of them, and I think that's what makes Dark so terrifying. Or I guess it's one of the things that makes him so terrifying. His ability to just do whatever. Do anything he needs to. At any point. Now this game, MaxPax is going to open up with a Stargate. Much more standard Protoss opening here. But very standard out of Dark as well. We are seeing a extremely normal PVZ first 4 or 5 minutes here. Evo Chamber, I'm imagining is going to be for +1 melee out of Dark. Oracle's going to try to find a way in. They'll grab a Creep Tumor and a Drone, but don't want to stick around too long so they don't go down. This should be a fun little macro game here. MaxPax, obviously, I mean, I would say he's the best Protoss in the world right now. So in a macro game, he's going to be feeling pretty all right against Dark. But Dark has had a very strong year. I think Dark's had some solid results this year. We've seen a lot of really sick matches from him. And, you know, he hasn't, like, won a lot of the big stuff. He has won a lot of big matches against a lot of big players. And it doesn't... I haven't felt this year like Dark has been a free win for anybody or like he's been missing steps here. It's been a big year for him. As these Debs come in, get a couple of drone kills, mostly just trade with the Lings. And one of them will escape. MaxPax, unfortunately, like this last year, especially as we're having a lot more offline tournaments and maybe less prize money online, it's been a little harder for him, I think, because he doesn't go offline. It's a big miss for all of us that we haven't had MaxPax offline. I still hope at one point we can make that happen. You know, it would be a really cool use of the Saudi money at the big tournament this summer. Would be if they just offered MaxPax like a bunch of money to go to the offline tournament. That'd be kind of sick. I would feel like bad for the other players, but what if they were just like, MaxPax, we'll give you $500,000 if you come to the tournament. Just show up and play in your group. Just for doing that, you get $500,000 plus whatever prize pool you win. Like that would be the way to do it, right? Maybe that's what he's waiting for. MaxPax is trying to build up mystique, so somebody will pay him to go to an offline tournament one day. Maybe he's smarter than all of us. Oh, ooh, okay, I wasn't expecting this. We got Swarm Hosts coming out of Dark. Dark taking a page out of, like, Cham's book, I guess. I don't know anybody else who goes for Swarm Hosts these days, generally speaking. I mean, I feel like I've seen Dark. If anybody else, it would have been Dark. But that's kind of cool, okay. The Nidus Worm is down as well, so Dark is going to be trying to put some pressure on. Now, there are Stalkers and Oracles here, clearing some of this creep. I don't think Dark is going to want to use these defensively, so he's going to try to defend with just the Lings. Splits a few forward. They will get caught in the stasis trap. The rest are coming in now. But the Nidus Worm's on the way on the other side of the map, and MaxPax is not prepared for this at all. Here come the Swarm Hosts. The Locusts are going to pop out. MaxPax is about to find some sadness here. Some Overlords are getting killed, but I mean, this feels like a dead Nexus, right? Overcharge on it? No? Yeah, he's not even going to try. Oh, there he goes. Yeah, it doesn't matter, man. Those Locusts do insane damage, and there are quite a few of them. The Overcharge will at least keep the cannon alive and most of the Stalkers up. But the Lings and Roaches over here killing the rest of these Stalkers as the Oracles are trying to run home, and MaxPax is in a tough spot right now. He just lost a base. He didn't kill any of the Oracles. He lost a bunch of Stalkers for free. And now he's got to defend the next wave. And this is where it starts to get really scary. When the Locusts pop out and they get the damage done, that momentum starts to build. Now, this is better for MaxPax. He has some units here to help buffer against the Locusts, but he's still going to lose some Stalkers trying to defend this next wave. And now the Lings and the Roaches come into this base. Probes getting killed here. It looks like most of them will live, but the static defense is gone. New Knight is going to be planted down here. There's one available up here. Baneling's being morphed. Dark, he's got the momentum on his side. His fifth base is about to pop. He's only on 71 workers, but who needs anything more than that? MaxPax will clear this Nidus, but Swarmos are about to have Locusts available again, and the Banelings are about to roll in. MaxPax, pull the probes, pull the boys. Storm's going down. Banelings not going to be able to find their way in, it looks like, but now the Locusts are here, and I don't know if there's a Storm left available. There they go. Oh, the base stays alive. MaxPax finally gets a win, but it's not over yet. Dark is going to come in here, try to hit with the Lings and the Roaches. Can he clear this base? It's so low. Not quite. The Stalkers are going to push him back. Storm is still a threat. Dark needs to be careful. He's going to lose a couple Ravagers here for free. But oh no, the Banelings come back in. They'll blast the base. They're going to blast a couple of probes. Force the probes all to run away. And now the next wave of Locusts is ready. And this is why Swarm Hosts are so tough to deal with. Because Dark has the momentum and he is just going to keep the pressure on. Lands the Locust. This time he's going to just go for the cannons and the units. And he will just clear a couple of things here. And the Lings and Roaches are back on the top side, just moving back and forth. Dark hitting in 2 places every single time with those Locusts and with his ground army. 17 probes now going down. And MaxPax's economy it's in the dumps. He's on 3 bases. He has a solid 3-base economy. But Dark, he's cruising, man. I mean, his economy is not that fantastic. But because he's just been nonstop dealing damage, it's going to be so hard for MaxPax to get back into this. He will kill that Nidus Worm and should be able to get back to his Archon and Storm friends there. But next wave of Locusts coming in. There are some stasis traps going down. Those could be very nice here, catching a handful of units. The Locusts will all get cleared without doing really anything at all. So finally, MaxPax makes a good hold. But Dark is not going to stop the pressure now. And 10 Lurkers being morphed. MaxPax's army is like okay at best against Lurkers. This Nidus is still available up here. More Nidus Worms going down. Dark's going to be able to dive in with these Lurkers. He could try to reinforce with the Locust or pop them out and hit this base. That looks like what he's going to do. Oh, you got to be careful. These Lurkers might need some friends. But he's going to start working his way forward. The Locust coming in here, not getting a lot of damage done, but keeping half of MaxPax's army occupied while the Lurkers dive in on the other side. You know what? MaxPax is going to hit this from 2 sides. This might be a good engagement moment for MaxPax as he blinks around with some Stalkers, lands some Storms. The Oracle's doing a lot of damage from the skies. And it looks like all the Lurkers are going to get taken out. The last one getting targeted down. MaxPax clears that army. Now Dark is remaxing, but he's out of money. He's at 170 supply. Yes, his army supply is big, but remember, a lot of that is in these 9 Swarmos. I think there's 3 supply each. That's just 27 supply in Swarmos. But the Locusts are going to come back in. They could target this base down. It looks like they're not, though. They're going to get some probes, kill that cannon again. Still a pylon. I mean, that's still a lot of damage there. There's 2 Niduses down here for MaxPax to clear. But in the meantime, Dark has taken the gold. He has saturated this base up. He could take this one up here. And he's got Lings and Hydras going across the map. Lurkers being morphed. Banelings being morphed. He just wants to keep the pressure on. MaxPax has done a shockingly good job keeping his economy going and keeping his army supply up there. But this is just going to get more and more difficult. These Lurkers are honestly very exposed right now. 2 of them are going to go down. But the Lings, the Banes, the Hydras coming in on the other side. Storm's going down. They're doing okay here, but the Lurkers on the left side are starting to chew through some of this army. The Immortal's going to try to chunk through them. They do have detection. The Lurkers are getting hit, but now the Locusts come in to clean up some of the rest of these units. I mean, at the same time, Zealots got in over here. So while 16 probes go down, the rest of these Locusts will get cleared up. Worker count still pretty heavily in favor of Dark, though, as he remakes his drones immediately. MaxPax not going to be able to do that quite as quickly. However, the army supply for Dark has been falling. It's down to 81. He doesn't have any money. He's just desperately trying to remake these units. It feels like he should have a ton of money, but he's traded. I mean, it's dead on efficiency-wise, and that's not what you're usually looking for with Swarm hosts. God, the mining here has actually been incredible for MaxPax. Like, it feels like it should be much worse than this throughout the game. This is the worst moment for him, though. He's down at 62 workers. His main and his natural are getting very, very low. And that's just going to get worse and worse for him. He needs another base, and that's so hard to find. Those lurkers all just popped on one Zealots. This is decent for MaxPax. Although the Swarm hosts at this point have really paid for themselves already. And I almost wonder if Dark's going to want to replace them with something else. I guess it's not going to matter, as MaxPax is just falling further and further behind every time Dark comes into attack. He doesn't have the juice to keep it going. And Dark is going to go up 2-0 in this series. The Swarm host gambit really working out for him in that game. Damn. Don't expect that. Don't expect MaxPax to go down 0-2. Hopefully he can pull it back, give us a 5-game series. Cool to see Swarm host be brought out again. I don't know, maybe that's been more common. I haven't seen it just yet. I mean, I haven't seen it in a while, but yeah, I don't know. Again, Cham is like the only person I've cast recently that I've seen go Swarm host against Protoss. But it's cool to see Dark bust them out there. Cool to see them get a win, honestly. I feel like that's the most surprising part. But maybe they have been more common. I try to keep up with the pro StarCraft scene, but there's a lot of games I miss. There's actually still like a lot of high-level StarCraft going on all the time, despite the fact that this game is 14 years old now. We still have a lot of high-level StarCraft. It's really crazy. These guys are insanely good, too. Let's get into game 3. We're on match point, and he now needs to win 3 in a row to take down this EPT Cup. In the upper left corner of Oceanborn, it is Psystorm's MaxPax. And his opponent in the lower right just needs to win one more time. What strat is he going to bust out in game 3 to try to do that? It is Talon's Dark. Oh, dude, maybe that's what we need to do. We need to get MaxPax a costume for his offline reveal. Could we convince him to go to an offline tournament if we only ever show him on camera in costume? He's just helmet on the whole time. Imagine how... I don't have to imagine how difficult it would be to play with a helmet on the whole time. I have done that.
Oh, man.
Really hard.
Wow.
But maybe we could convince him to do it if he's in costume. Kanoya, thank you so much for the 8-month resubscription. Oh, thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. Welcome back to the flock. I don't know, man. I want to see MaxPax play on LAN. I don't even care if he gets knocked out in the first round. I just want it to happen. You know, it's like, we got to rip the Band-Aid off. We got to get him to a LAN. He's got to get knocked out in the group stages, taking like 3 maps. And then, I mean, listen, you can only go up from there. I actually think he's good enough that even if nerves was the issue and he was going to be super nervous and like play way worse on stage, I still think he would probably do pretty well. I think he would probably do pretty well because a lot of StarCraft is like muscle memory. And I think MaxPax's muscle memory is strong enough for him to beat a lot of top players, at least a good percentage of the time. But I don't know. Let's get him on stage in in his costume. He could be the Mandalorian, you know? Or, I don't know. Whoever he wants to be. Get him dressed up as a Marine. This is annoying. Dark going to sneak in here with 2 Lings. Probe's trying to fight it out. The Adept is going to come home to defend. That means the Adept isn't out here being annoying. And that's exactly what Dark wanted. To delay the Adept being out there being annoying. Oh, man. I've been really hungry for a while. I don't know if somebody's cooking or what. I just caught a whiff of something, and I'm not really sure what it is, but it just made me really want cookies. Chocolate chip cookies. Dude, I could so go for some chocolate chip cookies right now. That's actually insane. How much just like a small whiff of somebody baking something makes me want chocolate chip cookies immediately. I'm sorry for putting that all into your brain as well. But hot diggity. Could I go for some Nestle Toll House? I always go for the break and bake. I don't know if you guys are chocolate chip cookie eaters. I'm somewhat picky about cookies. I love cookies, but there's a lot of cookies that I do not love. When they get like kind of thicker and cakier or breadier in texture, I really don't like that. Definitely not a big fan of that. But honestly, Nestle Toll House Break and Bake, pretty goated. Very, very solid cookies. I'm a big fan of underbaking my cookies too. Underbaked. What I used to do, whenever I would bake cookies for like a group of people, and back in college I'd actually do this decently often. Bake the tray of cookies, underbake them, and then take them out, and I would scrape them off the pan onto a plate immediately and just make a pile of like hot, gooey, mostly baked cookies. But they would all like fold in on each other. And then you just go at it with a fork. And you might think, why wouldn't you just make them cookies? And you could, but that's less fun. You go at them with a fork, and here's the beautiful part. The middle stays warm and gooey longer. You know how there's like those last few cookies that people are like hesitant to eat, and then like by the time you eat them, they're like room temp? They're still good. But imagine if they were also still warm and gooey. That's what it's like. You like take a bite, the middle's still warm and gooey as you go. Got a little skirmish here. A little scramble as the Adepts try to get away. Looks like they will for now. There is triple Oracle here. Dark going to chase those Adepts. Oracle going to keep them alive, though, and that means this 4th base not going to be able to go down quite right now. It's kind of cheeky. This was triple Oracle. Did any die? No, just a couple of Adepts died. So, yeah, triple Oracle here. Handful of Adepts just trying to get some damage done so far. They've done okay, but it looks like these Adepts are going to die to the Lings. The 4th base will go down. But this is one of MaxPax's strengths. I've actually seen him like fully just win games with that, even against, honestly, even against Dark. The early game, like Oracle, Adept, Micro, and Pressure is so difficult to deal with. If you're not 100% ready, like it will just crush you. And we see a lot of Zerg players making these early Lings, just trying to get extra defense out there, and it's helped them a lot, but still can be very tough. You get too far from those Queens, the Oracle suddenly kill all your Lings. Brutal. How do I feel about raisins and cookies? Disgusting. Disgusting. Raisins and cookies. Get out of here, dude. If I wanted to eat raisins, I mean, I don't know why I would eat raisins. Honestly, raisins in anything is always the wrong answer. I can't think of a single thing that's made better by raisins. Like, I'll deal with raisins and things, And if you gave me a chocolate chip cookie and it had raisins in it, I would eat it. Oatmeal raisin, though. Hell no. What am I eating fucking breakfast over here? Get the hell out of here. But, like, people put raisins in meatballs? Dude, you gotta stop. You gotta stop. I'm getting all heated. I don't even hate raisins. Some people hate raisins. I don't hate raisins. Just stop putting them in stuff. You want to eat raisins, you get yourself a little thing of Sun-Maid raisins, you eat them. Go for it. Keep them out of my cookies. Keep them out of my meatballs. I don't know. Why are they in anything? Get them out of there. Anyways, let me talk about this game a little bit. You guys have been watching these stalkers blink micro back like crazy. MaxPax is trying to trade with a lot of these units. He's doing a fantastic job. These trades are insanely good right now. Behind this, he's got more gates coming up. His 1-1 is done. Not a lot of tech coming up behind this for MaxPax, though. The oracles are here just in case the roaches and lings get too far forward. And Dark is going to clean up some stalkers finally, but at the expense of a lot of units here. MaxPax even blinking forward. It does look like Dark might finally push this back up into the ramp, but man, I don't know. Every time I think he's about to, he doesn't. The oracles are out of juice, so now it's on just the stalkers, which they're getting pretty low on hit points. MaxPax, so bold. A lot of queens went down there as well, but in the meantime, both players are on very good economies. MaxPax's 5th base is on the way up. Dark is on 5 bases, 80 plus workers for both of them. But Dark is getting into Ravagers and Banelings now, so he's getting his tech up there. MaxPax is still on just Blink Stalkers. I think he needs something else. He needs something else. I don't know what it is. But he needs to get some splash damage going. Wouldn't hate to see Storm. He does have Charge on the way now. Blink Stalkers will run into a wall, tech-wise, where they won't be able to keep up. And I think we're going to see that somewhat soon. A bunch of slow Zealots come in. Oh, MaxPax might have thought he had Charge, but he never started it. And that's a bit unfortunate for him. These Zealots are a lot slower at dealing damage. And they're going to get cleaned up without really doing too much at all. But the Stalkers are going to come back in, and Dark was not able to cover both sides. He's going to lose this base. This Zealot, oh, I thought it was just going to target down a bunch of drones here, but it will get cleaned up. MaxPax will pull back. He's going to start his 6th base before Dark is able to even retake his 5th. This is one thing about MaxPax is when he's ahead economically, he will just keep getting ahead more and more and more. MaxPax sending another counterattack. We do have Ultras on the way now for Dark. He's got Burrow on the way as well as that chitinous plating. Baneling's going to try to roll in here. Looks like they won't get too much done. Actually, MaxPax, okay, he's going to pull the probes there for a second. But Zealot run by not getting much done, but Stalkers come back in. Dark's army is going to be terrifying, but his economy is going to be garbage. So this is going to be a point where Dark needs to start trading very efficiently, which has not been the case. But now is the time where he can start to do that, right? He's got a much better set of units out than MaxPax, generally speaking. A bunch of lings get caught in the stasis trap. The Banelings somehow thread the needle, though. What? It's actually insane. The problem for Dark is his army, it's so tough to split to deal with all of this at once. The Vipers are so cool, but are they actually going to be useful here? Blinding Cloud could be very nice, but the Stalkers can, of course, blink backwards. Which is exactly what MaxPax is going to have to do. Oh, Parasitic Bombs the Oracles, try to kill those. Lings and Banes running over here. I think they'll be cleaned up by this next Warp In. Zealots stop this base from going up, and now they're going to try to attack in here. It looks like they will get cleaned. I think only the 1 Ultra is out. There's 2 Ultras out right now. Oh, the Vipers get jumped on? Yeah, 1 Viper went down. MaxPax has a bank building right now. He doesn't have a ton of, like, quality units, but like, it feels like it doesn't matter. Like, Zealots and Stalkers are enough. He's building more Robos. Now he's going to kill this Ultra as the Lings got caught outside. These Lings are going to burrow. MaxPax is going to recall. Ah, and there's an observer with that recall. Ah, this feels like it's going so much better for MaxPax. Dark's economy is just such hot garbage compared to MaxPax's. He has not been able to damage MaxPax's economy basically at all, which is a real problem here. He's killed 3 probes this game, despite all of these run-bys he's attempted with Lings, with Banes, Ultras. Just not getting it done. And now as Dark chills, he's going to take a base, but it feels like this moment of breathing is better for MaxPax, who behind this is teching, right? Finally, he's teching. He's got his, I think it's triple robo up, potentially. Yeah, triple robo. But Dark's going to try to dive in now. The Oracles are doing their best against the Ultras. He's going to split the Lings and Ultras up. He's also hitting over here with Roach Ravager Ultra. And all of a sudden, MaxPax is on the defense, and he's just got Stalkers kind of chilling in the middle of the map. It looks like he's going to defend this base, killing a lot of Ultras to do so. This base, yeah, he's going to defend both of these. A lot of Ultras going down here for Dark, but Dark kills the base down here, the 5th base. He's going to trade with a bunch of Stalkers. He's replacing the Ultras now. I don't know if I love replacing the Ultras because, again, there's triple robo. There's 3 Immortals being made at a time. MaxPax isn't bothering with higher tech. Just building Immortals because, yeah, why not? It's good against absolutely everything Dark is making right now. The one thing I will say is Blinding Clouds can be really brutal against Immortals. Ultra pops back up to try to get some damage done, but it actually can't get to the probes. It's too fat, and it will die to the Immortal that pops out. Lings and Banes over here, not quite getting it done. Dark's going to dive forward. There is a Viper, but I'm not sure where it is right now. Maybe it died. Yeah, it looks like it got sniped down, perhaps. But, nonetheless, Dark's going to be able to push this back. Some Zealots running in for a counterattack. That might be very difficult to deal with, unless Dark has an Ultra popping out right at the perfect spot. Then maybe it'll be okay. Lings, actually, Banes blasting in here, getting on top of some of the probes. MaxPax's economy is taking a big hit, but Dark's about to lose his entire army out here. The Warping on the backside blocks the army, and now Temple Archives is done. That's just going to be 4 Archons right there. And that's going to counter the last thing Dark had in his army composition, which is Ling Bane. Now MaxPax's economy, it's hurt. It's hurting right now. But he's had such a bank for so long, he's still up on supply. He's going to go for a counterattack into Dark's only mining base. The drones will try to run away for now, but that base is dead. That's not his only mining base, but it's his new base. To recall the Immortals, he will actually get them out of there. Dark needs to get these Ultras back with the rest of his army. They are not doing a lot over there. A lot of probes going down, though. Okay, MaxPax's economy. I mean, both of them are in absolutely dire straits in terms of the economy. Let's take a look at the income. I think it's slightly in favor of Dark right now, but as I say that, his 4th base is getting hit. Stasis Trap catches a bunch of Zerglings. I did see some Infestors coming out. A good Fungal or 2 could be massive. MaxPax's army is insane, though. Look at him spend that bank. Oh, my God. He's going up to 8 Archons. Dark says, screw it. I'm going to counterattack. And he's going to dive in here with the Lings. MaxPax has a bunch of units back at home, too, though. Oh, man. That base is going to pop. Dark losing a lot of economy here. MaxPax losing a bunch of his economy, too. What's left of it? Both players knocked down to 3 bases, just their original 3. MaxPax going to try to go back in. Ultras are coming home for Dark to fight it out, though. This is probably the last fight of the game. I think MaxPax just has too much, man. The army supply is so in favor of MaxPax right now. Dark is going to dive on top of this. Lands a single Fungal. The Ultras are going to do their best, but there's still 3 Immortals in here. And I think that's just going to about do it. WW MaxPax will keep the series going, taking game number 3 off of Dark. What a game, man. It is crazy when MaxPax like gets ahead. He just expands. He's like a Zerg player. And the Zerg player behind is just like can't do anything about it. He's so good at defending those run-bys too. I think that's such a crucial element of it. That MaxPax kept defending and deflecting those Lings and Ultras, Banes that were trying to hit him on the other side of the map. He just couldn't get in there. Dark could not get in there and hurt MaxPax's economy at all. So crazy, too, how little tech MaxPax had for much of that game. It was just like blink stalkers. He warped in a bunch of zealots and realized they didn't have charge and sent them in to counterattack anyways. And then even after that, it was like, okay, hold on. Let me tech up to Immortals and Archons. That's it. No Storm, no Stargates, not trying anything super fancy. Just hitting in multiple spots with the low-tech units. Trading really, really well with the Stalkers. That's the kind of gameplay we expect to see from this guy. Spawning now in the upper left-hand corner of Hard Lead, it's MaxPax. Taking game number 3 there. Bringing us to a game 4, but still on match point. The lower right, it is Dark. Still only needs to win 1 of the next 2 games. MaxPax does need to win both. Yeah, see, it's funny, like, Dark, sometimes he's like, nope, extractor trick, I'm taking my natural. And sometimes he's like, take a third, sure. Now, that was a choice, though. Dark was sending his drone this way, turned it around, and he went to this base. This, to me, this tells me Dark's going to attack. I'm expecting to see him probably break down these rocks, so they might just go around. But I'll probably break down these rocks and try to hit MaxPax through the center, assuming MaxPax is doing a standard macro opening. Max will see this base. And if I'm honest, smart kid, probably come to the same conclusion I'm coming to. So now the question is, how does MaxPax want to deal with this? I'm expecting, again, pretty standard opening from him. Expecting a Stargate. Some harass with the Adept Oracle situation. And let's see if Dark plays the way we're expecting him to. The nice thing about Dark is usually if I say, oh, he's probably going to go for a roach attack, he does it such a high percentage of the time that I end up being right more often than I'm wrong. Kind of nice. It always feels good when you like try to predict something a little bit and it happens. It's a nice feeling as a caster because, you know, often players will do the exact opposite of what you say, and it feels like they're just doing it to spite you. So it's nice when you get one right. Every now and then, you get one right. Now, of course, we've got that Adept Harass. Stargate is, in fact, on the way for MaxPax. But this is something he's very good at, MaxPax, is harassing with these units. Dark, though, he's gotten much better at defending it. This was like a thing that really started happening not too long ago. And I remember when MaxPax was like really kicking this into gear, and every game, Adepts and Oracles were just poking and prodding. I have a very specific memory of a match he played against Dark. And one of the games, Dark just died to it. It was just like the Adepts and Oracles killed so many workers. And I don't know if there was a follow-up attack. I don't really remember, but that was the end of the game. Just too much damage for MaxPax in the early game. And that's a crazy kind of thing to do against a player like Dark, like of Dark's caliber. You just don't usually see that kind of thing happen. where early game harass just ends the game. Obviously, Dark doesn't let that happen anymore, but still a lot of damage potential with these early game units. You gotta respect them. And even when they're defended, players like Hero and MaxPax, they can still get 5, 6, 7 drone kills in a very short period of time. See already 3 going down. Oracle will sneak out of there. We do have the lair for Dark. I wasn't sure if we were going to be getting one. He's going to put it down in the natural, and it'll just get scouted immediately. All right, cool. I was like, maybe it won't get scouted. Nope, MaxPax dives right in there. That's another thing I want to mention that MaxPax is very, very good at is keeping tabs on his opponent. And with a player like Dark, it's insanely important and also it can be very difficult. But I do feel like MaxPax, generally one of his strengths is scouting his opponent, keeping tabs on them, and understanding the game state in terms of like where his opponent is in their game. Game 1 with the Swarmos, I don't think he scouted that at all. Don't think he had any idea that was coming, the Nidus. And that can be a tough thing when you're used to having most of the information because you're very good at it. The moment you don't, you can feel very much in the dark. And it's going to be important for Dark to keep him in the dark because this is another Nidus. And so MaxPax is going to have to see if he can figure it out. Now these Adepts try to sneak in here. Not a lot of drones at this base. He's going to see not a lot of drones at this base. Dark is on 45 workers. And I feel like that is MaxPax maybe figuring something out here. The Overseer is morphing. He's going to warp in a Stalker. Yeah, this is the anti-Nidus Stalker right here. But the Nidus is going to hit the front. Baneling Nest on the way as well. MaxPax is so close to finding it, actually. This is very dangerous for Dark. Are there queens in that Nidus? There are queens. They're right in the front. They can transfuse. Should MaxPax try to hit it, but he will not, which means creep spread is going to be going. Nidus Swarm, second Nidus Swarm coming up. And that one, I think, is going to be able to get up as well. Depth's diving out here, trying to get some kills on some Lings for free, but Dark's not really letting it happen. Queens are pushing forward. Baneling's being morphed now as well. Shield batteries here going to help defend. Oracle's going to turn on as well. There is an overcharge available. MaxPax is being very patient, waiting for his energy to run out before he uses that, trying to buy time. But that might let these Banelings get going here. More Lings are popping out. Now the Natural's in some trouble. Baneling's going to turn around, try to run into the Adepts here, but those Banelings really not getting anything done so far. It's mostly just on the Lings. MaxPax might have to turn that on that Super Shield battery. Blink is done. Oh, with the Banelings getting the Lings getting on top of the Stalkers. I don't know, man. Dark is looking very good here. Not a lot of units left for MaxPax. He can blink those Stalkers backwards, but the wall is still going to break. The Lings are starting to get in. Another Nidus pops up at the third base. Oh my god, and Dark is just continuing to drop Nidus Worms as he keeps reinforcing with as many Lings as he possibly can. Baneling's trying to go down as well. There's a lot of queens here. Still 7 queens alive. Transfuse keeping them up for a little bit longer. Dark trying to break through. I don't know, man. MaxPax is starting to pull this back. The army supply is getting back in his favor. He has a lot of Blink Stalkers. Only 6 probes went down. I think MaxPax holds. It looked real dicey for a second there, but it's not quite over yet. Dark is going to keep the pressure on. But at some point, he's going to lose a lot of momentum. Kills the Cybercore. Uh-oh, hold on. There's already a backup Cybercore. MaxPax put that down like a minute and a half ago because he knew the possibility. Spine Crawlers being made against Blink Stalkers. I don't know. It's not looking good for Dark. I feel like the Banelings continuing just to not be able to get through. There's so many low probes. Just so many probes in the red at these 2 bases that if the Banelings were to get on top of them, that would be huge, but there's just not enough here for Dark. Another Nidus Swarm gets killed. There's only the 1 left back here. I will say the creep spread is quite good, but MaxPax is up almost 20 workers right now. He's cruising on full 3-base saturation. He's going to move the Spine Crawlers forward, but Stalkers are actually quite good against Spines. Lings and Mains trying to push them back in the meantime. Queens do not do a ton of DPS, but the Banelings are finally going to smash through. However, the Oracles go for the counterattack. There's no Queens or Spores here. Dark's third base is getting absolutely ravaged by the Oracles, killing every drone at it. Dark, he was already all in, but now he's all in with no economy behind this. Cannons and shield batteries holding on the north side. Dark pushing too hard on this base, I think. The Baneling's going to smash through. Oh my god, but they're not getting it done. The super shield battery stays alive, and I think that's it. MaxPax is very much gonna hold this. There's just no way on 24 drones that Dark can keep this production up. Oh, even the creep is gonna get killed here. Yeah, maybe. There's just too much. The Queens just can't do it on their own. The link count isn't high enough. And I think we're going to see a GG here shortly from Dark. He's kept the army supply up shockingly well, but there it is. There's the G. MaxPax brings us to match point in this best 5 series, taking game number 4, holding the onslaught from Dark. It's funny, even though he didn't break down the rocks or use the, the fact that his third base, or I guess his second base was closer to MaxPax, Dark still went for the big 3 base all in, as expected. Let's see what game number 5 is going to be. See how we can close this series out. Oh, we're going to be on Site Delta. All right, here we go. Players are in. Casters are in. Players are ready. Start that countdown. Our last map of the night. It's been a very exciting series. I mean, I expect that from these guys. But this has been very good. And honestly, we haven't really gotten any late game. I guess game 3 was our... That was like our longest game, right? That was the latest game. We did have Ultras and Vipers coming out of Dark. But it's funny, it didn't feel like late game because MaxPax was just on like the units you start building at, 3 minutes into the game. His highest tech was Archons. He didn't even have Storm. His highest tech was Archons. It's just so funny. But it is something I've seen come up a bit in like the long PVZs. I actually saw Stats do it the other day too, and he looked really good with that. Where it's just keeping that heavy pressure on Blink Stalkers, Charge Lot Run-Bys, maybe even DTs, just hitting in multiple locations. Really, the 2 groups of Blink Stalkers can be so difficult to pull off, but also insanely difficult to deal with. Well, let's see what these guys have for us in store in game number 5. Spawning in the lower right-hand corner of Site Delta, it is Systrom Gaming's MaxPax. And his opponent in the upper left for Talon, it's Dark. All right, so this time, Dark able to take his natural. And by able to, I mean he forced it again. So let's see what game plan Dark has. Sorry, after casting for a while, my my jaw gets kind of tired. My voice isn't doing too bad today, but sometimes it starts to get a little raspy. I start to feel it in the voice. But really, it's like my jaw is kind of tired. Just yammering on. I'm a professional yammerer. Professional talker, dude. Professional talker. Just excited to see what these guys have for us in game 5. A lot of possibilities here. MaxPax shockingly going for a Stargate again. We have seen some players change it up. And actually, MaxPax in game 1, he did the double gate opening. So even he's changing it up a bit from time to time. But, I mean, this setup here is just... it's been extremely standard at the top level for PvZ. And it's what we expect to see most of the time. Dark, again, tends to be very aggressive. This map, I do think, lends itself pretty decently to some aggression. Could be tough to hold the third base through here, and you get splits going and get a big surround on a third base. Dark has a lot of builds, too. A lot of, like, heavy aggression builds that can make him really tough to play against. But the hardest thing about Dark, too, is not necessarily just his first bit of pressure, as this is really nice for MaxPax. Here's the kind of thing I'm talking about with the Adepts, as he gets 3 drone kills and 3 link kills with just 1 Adept. It's a nice start there for MaxPax. But one of the things that makes Dark really tough to play against, and we've seen this time and time again, it's not just his first attack, right? Whether it's, you know, just a bunch of Lings coming across, maybe Ling Ravager, maybe Roach Ravager, maybe there's Queens involved. It's that he knows how to transition out of it if he needs to. And sometimes he'll just keep all-inning you, but sometimes he will transition out of it. And that transition could be double expanding, pumping drones, killing it on tech, and then all of a sudden you're up against Hive Tech like 3 minutes later, and you're like, how did you do that? Hive Tech and 85 drones. I've seen him go from a Roach Ravager push, bang up to 85 drones, and it's crazy. He just is right up there. But then Dark can also, he can drone up a bit and then go into a follow-up attack, which can be terrifying. It's just so hard to know exactly where he's going to go. We saw him earlier today dive straight into Mutas, and that's something we've seen him follow up Roach Ravager attacks with a lot, right? Go for some early game attack, some early game pressure, get some damage done, and then boom, Muta's behind it. And meanwhile, the Protoss is like, I got it. I'm going to go for Disruptors. He's got Roaches, I'm going for Disruptors. And then, you know, 12 Mutas with +1 on the way start coming across the map, and makes it real tough. There's a lot of possibility here for Dark. MaxPax, he can absolutely change it up, but I feel like he doesn't really anymore. And I think it's just because he's so good at what he does. It's like he doesn't need to. But he does change up, I guess, how he uses the units. Like, again, game 3, we saw him just, instead of teching, opt for more and more Stalkers, more and more production, more and more pressure. Oh, the Queen's here, though. Nice transfuse there from Dark. He's going to get one of those Oracles, but the Adepts will shade in and get 4 kills. But I think that's good for Dark. Overall, the trades have been slightly in Dark's favor, but I would say relatively even considering how many drones have died. I think MaxPax is happy to be killing drones here for these Adepts and that Oracle. And he's following up with the Blink Stalkers and +1, and then straight to the Robo Bay. So this is where things can change for MaxPax, how he deals with the mid game. More so than how he deals with early game. Well, we have a Bane Nest for Dark. And he is double expanding. The double expand, Bane Nest, Hydra Den, +1 melee situation going for Dark. So he's going to skip the Roach Horn this time. Trying to get some cheeky probe kills here. Gets 1. Oracles will shove him off. I kind of like this for Dark right now, though. But that being said, MaxPax is about to have Blink and +1, so he could push out with some Stalkers, put some pressure on. It won't be a ton of pressure, though, because he is teching into Colossi behind this. So it should be a little bit easier for Dark to hold on against, but he's definitely going to need more Lings out to deal with this. I don't know if he's realized this is coming just yet. Stalker's going to come in. The Lings that were counterattacking deciding to come home and help defend. Colossi are going to be a very good call here for MaxPax as it's Lingbane Hydra out of Dark. But, I mean, this is Dark, so I'm kind of expecting him to tech pretty quickly into Hive. I'm a little surprised there isn't an Infestation Pit already done and Hive already on the way, but looks like he's more focused on getting the units out. Actually, you know what? At 74 drones, maybe Dark is just going to try to hit him with a nice big Lingbane Hydra army here. But he sees the Colossi now, and I feel like you gotta get Vipers out to deal with those. The thing is, Colossi are going to be so good against this ground army, but the moment there's Vipers out, they are just the worst. They're these like massive targets. They're 6 supply. You know, they do so much damage, but the moment they're gone, it's such a gaping hole in the army. And they're so fragile that you yoink them into the Lingbane Hydra, they just die instantly. Now Dark is finishing up that Infestation Pit, but it looks like he's going to attack anyways. Storm is not quite done yet. There are a couple of High Templar here just in case it does finish. But Dark's going to try to jump on top of this. He is insane, man. The Stalkers blink backwards. The High Templar morph to an Archon because that's going to be more useful than 2 High Templar, but it dies anyways. The Colossi, 1 does fall, but the other 2 are here. Super Shield Battery turns on. I don't know if I love this for Dark, but maybe he's taking a good enough trade to make it worth it. Some links from the backside as well, actually. Hold on. Oh, MaxPax is trying to hold on. Yeesh. Stalker count's getting low, but he's got enough. These 2 Colossi, man. What do we got? 12 kills and 23 kills. There was another one that died as well, but now it's double Colossus production right now for MaxPax. Ling's gonna try to dive in, but it's MaxPax, man. The door is closed. Got a shield battery and a cannon to help as well. Some Banelings being morphed, gonna try to run into this space. MaxPax is in a good position to defend it. Storm is done now, so he could warp in some High Templar and get them getting some energy, gathering some energy. Dark, in the meantime, has his Hive halfway done. He's going into Lurkers. Oh, 2 probes, I guess, died to that Baneling run by. Not too much damage, though. I mean, I don't know. Dark traded okay there. That's a much better trade than I would have expected for running Lings and Hydras into Colossi. I think he did better than I had thought he would. He's trying to find some more value here. The Stasis Trap going to catch a few Lings and let MaxPax know this is coming. Dark not able to get in with the counterattacks, but his Hive is finishing up. +2 attack is done for both of them. Now +1 missile attacks on the way for Dark. But the big story is going to be the Lurkers. Those Lurker upgrades on the way. Adrenal on the way. We could absolutely see some Vipers coming out. In fact, I'd be pretty shocked if we don't see some Vipers coming out. Dark is pretty low on gas, but I think those Vipers are important enough to spend that gas on right now. Charge is not done yet, which, again, very unfortunate for MaxPax. Because not only do Chocolates, obviously, the charge is very quick, but they actually move, like they just run faster with charge. So those run-bys are really nerfed by not having charge available during them. Pretty unfortunate for MaxPax there. They might have been able to get on top of some drones or something. But they just get cleaned up instead. Baneling's going to try to run through here. Mortal out at a crucial moment, though, and these Banes are going to get nothing done. Absolutely nothing done. Those shields are going to heal right back up, and it's going to be 0%. And now both players are maxed. Lurkers are on the way here for Dark. Oh, MaxPax is moving out on one side, but Dark is coming in on the other. Damn, Storm and Colossi just eating up these Lings. There are more Lings, but not for very long here as they just get walloped by these 2 Colossi, and the Storm's going down. And now MaxPax is going to keep pushing. Looks like he might bring the rest of his army up with this as well. And Dark is suddenly in some trouble. He does have detection for these Lurkers, but they're getting some good shots off. However, most of the Lurkers will die. Bit of a surround here, though. The Hydra's coming in, going to gun down both of these Colossi. The War Prism going to fall as well, but the rest of MaxPax's army shows up, and Dark, I think, just taking that awful fight, getting stormed and Colossi on his Lings. He's now in an abysmal position, and MaxPax has got to be feeling confident. There are still quite a few lurkers, 6 of them. Still a solid amount. A lot of Ling support, which again is not great against the Colossi, but it can keep the lurkers safe for a little while. 6 more on the way. It's going to bring them up to 12 lurkers. So MaxPax is going to have to start thinking about countering those directly. He does have a few immortals. Taking some damage, but still alive. Still kicking. Mothership on the way out as well. And I think he still has the oracles around somewhere. Well, he still has 1 oracle around. That's going to be good for tagging. A little bit of a skirmish in the middle of the map here, it looks like. MaxPax trying to look for a way in. He didn't kill this base, so he hasn't done any economic damage to Dark. So they're both still on solid economies here. Ling's looking for a counterattack. They're going to find Zealots, who are going to try to run back to this shield battery and cannon to help them out. MaxPax is going to keep diving in. He's going to take down this base of Dark and keep Dark on 5 bases to 5. It's not where Dark wants to be exactly. However, the Lings are going to get in this time. Some going into the natural, some going into the main, and this is where life gets very difficult for MaxPax. He is going to go for a recall into the main base with a lot of his army. He does have an observer around, so he'll be able to clean up any that burrow. But now his army, a lot of it's in the main and in the natural. 28 probes going down. His Banelings smash into the 3rd as well. And now Dark hitting this 5th base with his main army, mostly the lurkers here. Some Lings and Hydras to support. God, that is so many lurkers. He has 21 of them. And this is what I was talking about. MaxPax needs something specifically to counter them. Some Colossi and Immortals just aren't enough here. MaxPax says, okay, screw it, I'm going for the counterattack. But this started a lot earlier for Dark, this damage, and this is going to be very good for him as he's killed 32 workers already. MaxPax is killing a lot of these reinforcements as they pop out, and he is up in army supply. But it looks like he's going to pull back with at least some of his lurkers and try to defend here. Ooh, what is this? This is the recall. Oh my god, that's so many Archons. Jesus. Where do those even come from? I don't know, but Dark going to keep doing damage here. Oh, killing a lot of these probes. MaxPax's economy taking a big hit, losing 2 bases, losing a lot of probes, down under 50. Dark's economy is not exactly in a great spot. Oh, MaxPax going to try to move in here. Drops the Time Warp to try to kill those lurkers. He has a tag on all of them. He's got plenty of detection here, but it still doesn't feel like he can move in. Not a lot of Hydras to deal with the mothership, but a few more show up. These lurkers finishing off the last of these probes. Zealots getting warped in to deal with this. I don't think they have detection, do they? Does a deep-powered cannon give detection? I guess it does. All right, well, charge lot's pretty good. MaxPax moving back in. He could just go take this base out. I think that would be his best bet instead of trying to come down here. Knock him down to 3 bases to 3. Looks like exactly what MaxPax is going to do. Drones will run away, but Dark's not going to have much mining. His natural is almost completely gone. His main is almost completely gone. Basically going to be 1 base to 1 base mining. So despite the fact that Dark is way up on workers, that doesn't really reflect what the mining is like right now. It's very, very similar. Let's take stock of the armies here. There is 1 Viper out, 13 Lurkers, 18 Hydras, 7 Immortals, a couple Colossi, and a few Archons. Dark somehow escaped with many of these drones, but again, I guess they could long distance mine, but there's Zealots down here to be afraid of. The armies are very similar in supply, and honestly, a lot of it's going to come down to engagement. I kind of favor MaxPax, though. I feel like 7 Immortals is nothing to sneeze at. Plus, he's got the tags here from the Oracle. Plus, he still has the Mothership, which is hanging out up here. Unfortunately for him, that is able to be seen by MaxPax, who's going to be able to move his Hydras into position while leaving the Lurkers to defend. Oh, he wants to yoink, mama. He wants to yoink her. Oh, there's 3 Vipers now, actually. Almost completely full energy, too. The nice thing about the Vipers here is obviously they can abduct. Very cost efficient. But if MaxPax decides, screw it, I'm going in. Blinding Cloud on this army is insanely good. This army does not deal with Blinding Cloud very well. Some drones going down. But, of course, there are the abducts. That's going to be 3 Archons for free. And if Dark does that a few more times, it's a bit of a problem for MaxPax. Now, MaxPax is taking a base. Dark doesn't really have anything that he can do about that. He doesn't have, like, a group of Lings anymore. There's literally 2. So we can't go run by and try to take this down with, like, a handful of Lings. Not a possibility. Mama's considering going in again. Dark is leaving some units up here. It's kind of a weird group of units, so I don't know if I love this. I feel like a few Hydras would be better than these Lurkers, but you know what? It's Dark. He's the professional. He has 22 Lurkers. Jesus. I wonder he can leave 6 in his main, no problem. MaxPax trying to maybe sneak away in. I think his plan is potentially to get in here and recall into the main. Obviously can be a very strong strategy. He's up to 10 Immortals now as he's continued to build them. I do think that's a very good strategy against the heavy Lurker count of his opponent. Lots of Immortals tend to be very good. They have one weakness, is that they can't shoot up. That's about it. I don't know, dude. Lots of Immortals is just real good. Supply for supply, they're some of the best anti-ground ground units you can build. Oh, there's the recall. It finally happened. I thought Dark was going to be ready for it, but it took so long he wasn't. Now, a lot of these units getting caught on the low ground here, and MaxPax is going to recall out of there to a Nexus, but he is going to lose all this in the meantime. I don't think these Immortals can actually get away. Maybe they can join the rest of the army. Yeah, all right, MaxPax is going to be able to join back up with them. I'm actually kind of shocked they were able to get back to that. Turns out the Oracles are very helpful there. But Dark finally has a new base mining. Gonna try to retake this one. Although MaxPax is postured right outside it. Dark is very far away. Changeling about to die. Let's watch it happen. Down he goes. Imagine being the Zealot, and you're just standing there with your bro. Maybe you're like, I don't know why he's not talking, but maybe you're just being quiet together. That's fine. That happens. And then he just explodes because he's a changeling, and you're like, damn, I thought I knew that dude. I guess he just looked like Bob. I thought it was Bob, but he just looks like him. Ooh, MaxPax. He's splitting his army up. It's a dangerous thing to do, but can also be really good. He's forcing Dark to split his army up as well. MaxPax taking another base. This game's getting so weird now. I will say Dark, I think, has done a little bit of a better job on the upgrades. He has +3 attack, melee, and missile, and he just finished up +1 Carapace. MaxPax hasn't really been keeping up with those. He has +3 attack and +1 armor. He hasn't really been building anything, but he is getting into Tempest now, and that's a problem for Dark. Dark does not have a lot of economy to deal with a tech switch, or with additional tech. And that's going to be another dead base for Dark, and MaxPax going to try to move in here at the same time. There are plenty of Lurkers. Oh, he goes for the recall. He's going to get that army down here, and suddenly this is a massive army. And Dark is about to lose 2 bases and a bunch of Lurkers. He still has a good amount of army, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Then MaxPax is just going to back up. Triple feedback on all 3 Vipers. There's Lurkers hitting into counterattack. I don't know if it's going to be enough, though. MaxPax's army is just looking too dominating here. As more and more Lurkers go down, there's still 20 left. Jesus. But the Tempests are starting to come out. And the Lurkers, there's just no answer for Tempests. MaxPax is about to have the most solid army of all time. Recalls back to his base to make sure he can hold on to it. Dark does get a kill on this base, but the problem is he has no mining left. This is it. The 275 minerals here at this mineral patch, that's all of his mineral mining. He is long distance mining with most of his 44 drones. His income is abysmal. Finally, this base gets up. It only has 4 patches left. There's just not much here for Dark to rebuild with. He's got a ton of lurkers. MaxPax is on 11 immortals. He's got 4 tempests. He has Storm available as well, in case the Hydras get too close. There's even still the 2 Colossi. MaxPax has all the tools, and despite starting out 0-2, guys, I think we're here at the beginning of the end. I don't know if Dark can make it happen. He's made magic happen before, but I just don't think he has the tools for it this time. He's going to go for a counterattack with a handful of lurkers. Oh, but the Storm's just demolishing these Hydras. Honestly, if there's not enough Hydras, the Tempest can just win the game. And then the recall to the mothership again. The 3rd time for MaxPax. And now he's just going to get a free kill on this base. Again, not much mining to be had from it, but it's just one less thing going well for Dark. Dark going to counterattack. He's got lurkers and lings in here. 1 lurker over here. It's something. It's something, but look at the army supply. 139 to 88. MaxPax, he's got no probes left. He's down to 5 probes. They're all right here. So this is a problem for MaxPax, but I just think his army might be too good. The Vipers come in. They get a yoink. Feedbacks go down. Mama gets pulled in, but there's not enough anti-air to kill her. And Dark, he's stuck hanging out by spore crawlers. Cloak is going down on the army. I think MaxPax could just walk into the main base and kill everything up here. The Ling Lurker counterattack is doing the best it can, but it can't do anything about these Tempests. It just can't. And while MaxPax has 0 mining, I don't think Dark has any way to kill this army. And I think that's it. I think the army is going to win this game. GG gets called, and MaxPax does it. The reverse sweep takes out Dark in the grand finals. Oh my God, dude. What a champion. Oh. GG, man. MaxPax takes down another EPT Cup. Dark looked unstoppable. Couldn't close it out in the finals.